I saw the movie Stay Tuned. And Charlie, I don't remember the name of your movie, but you are sitting on that chair backwards while spinning a globe on your finger, and you're like wearing sunglasses and smoking a cigarette, and and your hat's on backwards.
Why are you saying it this time when that's how I start every episode?
Well, now you're putting your cigarette out on Steve's arm. Like, what's?
Now he's erect, and so am I. And now you are shit.
So that was a backfire. No, that was mission accomplished. Where'd you get that mission accomplished banner, Charlie?
You saw Cool World. Let's see.
I got a guy in the Navy.
Are you ready for Movie Versus? Welcome to Movie Versus, the podcast where we pin two terrible movies in an all-out battle for the best of the worst. Here are your hosts, Tyler Lamb, Charlie Pixley, and Steve Channing. All on Movie Versus!
Hey everybody, welcome to Movie Versus, the podcast in defense of bad movies. My name's Tyler Lamb. I am one of Trace hostess.
You should stick to
with
English.
The mostess. And I wish the listeners would be able to like get a little counter every time. Well, that's always a dream of mine. But just every time we raise our eyebrows a lot, if there was like a counter or a tick, like a ding ding ding.
Ding, 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 ding.
No, we just have to attach ropes to our foreheads, and then when the pulley system, so that when we raise our eyebrows, it rings a bell.
Okay, yeah.
It's like mousetrap, but for letting people know that we've raised our eyebrows.
And the one with that great Rube Goldberg type device for eyebrows raising, that's Steve Janik. How's it going, Steve?
It's all right. School has started, and I'm terrified.
I always thought school was out for summer.
No,
Or
it actually
was out
blown
forever.
It was blown to pieces.
Oh, okay.
But they've rebuilt. It's back and better than ever. They
damn.
built it one brick at a time, just another brick in the wall.
You know how you can call somebody a rube as like an insult?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody had to have burned Whoopi Goldberg at some point. Like, fucking Rube Goldberg, am I right?
Yeah,
No, that's how that
idiot.
started.
Yeah,
that's how that started.
That would be a fucking great
because they
burn.
insulted her in a very complicated manner, and they were like,
yeah.
so it's a Rube Goldberg insult.
Gotcha. Exactly.
And by the way, Steve, we're going back to a joke that I wanted to make. Is John Stewart at your school? Is he one of the teachers?
Yeah, he's part of the faculty.
Okay. And the one with the great
you need to give me some of that.
Him and Famke Janssen.
Okay. And the one with the old insults to Whoopi Goldberg herself. Always
rube.
there to call her a rube when she's with her dinosaur crime partner.
And without her eyebrows.
We have
So always.
Charlie Pixley. What's up, Chuck?
I'm ready to talk about Cool World.
All right, yeah, you saw Cool World, and I saw Stay Tuned. I think it is.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I always every time I looked this up, I kept typing the wrong thing. Even when I was like, oh, okay, wait, I want instances of this stuff. So it is Stay Tuned.
I
Stay
believe so.
tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish.
Jesus fucking Christ. Great A material. This guy over here. Holy shit. When is your stand up routine, dude? When are you hitting that open mic? And
when the comedy club is closed.
I mean, he's gonna shut it down when he performs.
Yeah.
So Steve, we're convincing you. So go ahead. Let's get this ball rolling.
So Charlie, I want you to tell me the tales of the 7-Up cool spot. I want you to tell me everything that happened that he did in his world. You guys aren't familiar with the Cool Spot mascot for 7-Up? He had his own video game on SNES and Genesis.
We are different ages.
All I know is
the biggest gap between you and myself.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm only 7 years older than you?
I don't know how old you are.
Yeah. All I know is Orlando Jones
No,
because he wants to
I
make
know that
7-Up
one.
yours.
No, there was a time where the spot in 7-Up logo, you know, that little spot in the middle.
Yeah.
It had sunglasses, and they called him the cool spot.
Hell yeah.
That sounds pretty dope.
And he had,
not as cool as Joe Cool.
I mean, at least you knew.
Joe Campbell.
Joe Campbell.
Imagine how
right.
confused you would be if he didn't have those sunglasses on. Like, how are you supposed to know that he was cool?
If he was smoking a
I was
cigarette.
gonna say if he was smoking,
That's true. Or backwards hat.
but he had
Or,
neither of
wait,
those.
was he riding a
He had
skateboard?
Occasionally.
Oh shit!
Flannel button up
dude.
tied around
He
his waist.
did have like sneakers that were slightly untied.
Whoa!
With a real fat tongue.
Yeah, you know the fact. Just like Toe Jam and Earl.
I was thinking like the orangutan on Tang. Didn't he have a huge tongue? I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up.
I mean, he was so cool.
Maybe I just wanted to say Tang.
He died of lung cancer from all the cigarettes he smoked.
I mean, orangutans I think all have fairly large tongues.
But Charlie, it was so cute that he was. I mean, he's an orangutan and he's got like 4 cigarettes in his mouth. Look at him.
That's hilarious.
I think I
Why do you
agree
think
with
fucking astronauts drink that shit? It's hella cool.
I think I might agree with PETA on that one.
The character from the Hunger Games.
Yeah, that they need to get
Yes.
them filtered cigarettes.
Yeah,
They don't
exactly.
want this tar
What is
bullshit.
this nonsense? At least some menthol, so they got some flavor.
Anyway, Charlie, tell me about Cool World.
Okay, so this movie opens up with Brad Pitt coming back home from World War II. He goes back home to his parents' house. It seems like it's just his mom. He tells her, "Hey, come outside with me. Come outside." She's really happy to see him, and he gets a motorcycle that he won in a card game in Italy or something like that, and he had shipped back. And they go for a motorcycle ride, and we see another couple leaving a casino, and this is all in Las Vegas, drunk driving. And
Was they crash into Cool World?
No, within the first 2 minutes, the car hits them, and the mother is ejected 30 feet off the bike and dies. And then he gets zapped into the cartoon world. Within 2 minutes. And
I'm gonna need to pull an audible. What? What cartoon world? Where did this come from?
well, Cool World. Okay, Cool
No,
World is
okay,
the cartoon
no.
world. The other world is just straight up Earth, normal Earth.
No, he
normal
crashed.
timeline.
He crashed into the diner from the Aha music
Oh,
video.
I thought he just saw a painting of a tunnel on a wall, and he's like,
No,
hey,
he got in a very real
he's
car
like,
accident.
no,
And his mother died.
I can make it. I'm
violently.
just
You mean
gonna
his wife?
punch it.
No,
No, he
his
said
mother.
mother.
Oh, his mother.
Yeah, he
Okay.
said mother earlier.
No, yeah, it was no. He crashed into that diner in the Take On Me video, and then right as the guy was going to grab the girl's hand to like take her into the cartoon world, he fell into it, and they went in. That's how it happened.
Oh, so you already saw this movie? That's unfair.
I mean,
And his,
I had to make sure I knew what I was talking
he
about.
did say, though, right before the car hit him, he looked off into the sunset as he was riding on his motorcycle and said, "Finally home."
Oh, I thought you were.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say in a day or two.
Oh, I thought he was gonna say, "Man, it would suck if I crashed and landed in Cool World today.
Or, man, I don't know why people say motorcycles are dangerous.
I don't even need to wear a helmet."
Neither of them were, so. Nor they weren't even buckled in.
Oh my god, dude! I bet you that motorcycle didn't even have airbags. What a different time.
So when he's there, he meets a few of the cartoon people, and they're introducing him. And
How quickly does he bang cartoon Kim Basinger?
okay, well, we'll get to that later. 'Cause that's a different character. This is Brad Pitt's character.
Oh,
And this
okay.
is back in right at the end of World War II, and they're sending him back. So after we leave him, like, he's stuck there, and as far as we know, he's just trying to survive then and figure out what's going on. But he meets this scientist. That's the one that sucked him over accidentally. He's just trying to create a portal back and forth between the worlds, and he opened one up, but he just fell through it, and it went from the human world to Cool World.
I'm
Not
guessing
Cool World to the human world.
I'm guessing you know it's a scientist because he's wearing like a white coat and like black glasses and.
Well, they're like the cartoon glasses where it's just like a mirrored reflection.
Oh, he's a cartoon. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody in Cool World is a cartoon.
Oh, okay.
Did you even watch the trailer?
So this guy goes on this long explanation of all about Cool World and everything, and Brad Pitt just looks at him and he goes, yeah, but you're cartoons. Which I thought was funny. Like, he explains everything on like a physics level explanation. Like, we've existed for all this time. We know about your guys' existence, but you don't know about us. And through this portal, yeah, but you're cartoons.
I don't know. That's a little better than English, please.
Or the whoa, slow down, egghead. Okay, so then we realize that he's stuck there. We do a time jump to the present day, 1992, and we see that this cartoonist is in jail, and he has his full setup in jail, his full sketch pad, and
for his
everything
deviant
like
art, like drawings.
No, yeah,
So
he's selling them on Kickstarter to pay for his.
Shit, in 1992.
Yeah, he's got to pay for his.
So he's arrested
lawyer.
for crimes against time.
Very
Yeah,
trendy.
and in the same cell with him is Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh shit, from Looper. Oh, what other crime bandits can we catch? We got
Marty McFly was there.
we've got we've got the time traveler's wife, not the time traveler.
That mailbox.
Yeah, that mailbox
from Lake House.
From Lake House, yeah. That thing's on trial right now.
And then like the stupid Rick from whichever
all of the
alternate
Teenage
universe.
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
Because
and Casey Jones.
yeah, I mean because they did feudal Japan crimes.
They did feudal Japan war crimes.
Okay. So this guy's in jail, and all of a sudden his cartoons start talking to him, and he has kind of like a mental lapse, and he goes into the cool world, but he wakes back up from it. And on the cool world side of things, Brad Pitt is a detective there now, all these years later, and he tries to stop the merging of the worlds. As far as like he doesn't want any humans coming over to cool world or vice versa, and Hollywood, the name of the main female character, Kim Basinger's character.
Yikes.
Well, it's from a comic that the cartoonist was drawing. Like,
Oh
that's
yeah,
what he's famous from.
he needs like better inspiration or something.
Yeah, I mean it's supposed to be kind of like that style.
It's funny because it's on the nose.
You could have at least gone with Holly Golightly again.
What?
That's I think that's the Breakfast
Again?
at Tiffany's name.
Okay.
This character should have been played by Rob Liefeld by how
No.
this chick looked though.
Really?
I mean her waist is skinnier than her ribs, and then it cuts in like another.
So
But
so
like,
exactly
like
like
a fake
Jessica.
cart.
No, yeah, I know.
Exactly like a
Jessica
Jessica
Rabbit
Rabbit type.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
that
say
bad.
I don't
Not
know
that
if
bad.
I don't know if Holly Golightly is from Breakfast at Tiffany's, and I know Mike Bell will probably call me out because he like every week if I screw something up he like messages me on Facebook. He's like, Steve, I hate to be that guy, but you weren't right about it. I was like,
No,
damn
he
it.
loves being that guy.
No,
Yeah, or else he wouldn't do it.
no, he knows that I appreciate getting told like the correct thing. Like he
Well, then tell him
straightens me back out.
Hey, if you're listening, correct Steve on the Facebook page so we can all revel in it.
Okay. So when he's in this cool world, in this mental lapse, and he gets sucked in there after being on screen for 5 seconds, it's cool because he's walking through like this kind of decayed town, kind of like a post-apocalyptic future, but I don't know. It's like their take on Vegas. So all the lights and everything are still functional,
it's
but it's
Fallout
kind of
New Vegas?
shitty, torn. Yes. Yes, but it was funny seeing
and the thing is there.
Yes. Well,
can't think
that
of
was him. Shit, I didn't notice.
Because of the fedora and trench coat.
Yeah, it all makes sense.
Fuck,
now.
what is that actor's name? The guy
Michael Chiklis.
Michael Chiklis. There we go. Yeah, and Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid was there as well. Damn.
So there's
Star-studded
there's
cast.
some gangs that are fighting each other, and it's just kind of funny to see. They're really pissed at each other, but it's all cartoon shit. So they're hitting each other with like mallets and like, "Hey, mother!" But they just
Wait,
like,
do they
"Wang!"
actually curse?
They don't say fuck, but everything else is fair game.
All right.
Oh shit! They say cunt.
Yeah, every other word. It makes it hard to understand.
No, you just put on that filter and you just listen to it sans.
Well, yeah, it comes with the cunt glasses where it's you put them on and if you watch with
Affects your
subtitles if you watch with subtitles it blurs out every single time, so it's complete sentences.
So very
Okay.
similar to They Live.
So
Yeah.
So Holly is the one that drew him in, and she's like, "Hey, you've been drawing me for so many years. I want to meet you and stuff." He gets in that world. She immediately is trying to fuck this dude. So they're about
Steve almost did a spit take.
they're about to fuck. but he gets zapped back into the real world because he wakes up.
Damn!
Just wait. He
was that close to losing his virginity.
He falls back asleep again immediately.
I've been there, brother.
He knocks himself out with a mallet to go back to sleep.
Don't worry, one day you'll lose it.
He wakes up
to a cartoon.
But then Brad Pitt busts into that room and is like, "Hey."
And then he walks in.
Brad Pitt comes into the cartoon room, because he gets an alert anytime there's like a human that enters the world. He's like, "What the fuck's going on? Stop trying to do this." Because if a cartoon character, they're called doodles. If a doodle has sex with a person,
if a doodle touches a doodle,
then they can transfer into the real world.
That is an aggressive system.
Yeah, earlier I was making a joke about busting.
Also, can we talk about the horror that would be a half human and half doodle child?
I can get to that later. That is actually a trivia bit. That's what the movie was originally about, was that he fucks Holly, and then it's a horror movie. It was actually originally pitched as a horror movie about a half cartoon, half person kid that he had and trying to raise that in the real world.
That sounds really fucking disturbing.
Yeah, sounds like Eraserhead.
Hey, I'm not done with my movie yet.
It sounds like an equally as fucked up version of Eraserhead, honestly.
Okay, so this cartoonist, he's done his time. He gets out of prison. He goes into a comic book shop just to see what like the new stuff is, because he was a famous cartoonist.
Why did he go to jail?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Wait, was he? What was he?
He was a cartoonist.
He wrote and drew for a comic.
Okay.
He did all of it.
And he colored? And he...
Yes, and inked, and...
He's an
did
inker?
Did the typography and all that shit.
And he edited?
So, and the comic was Cool World. So all the stuff he designed that's his comic book. So he goes in, the lady behind the counter recognizes him, and it's like, "Oh my God, I can't remember his name." It's like, let's just call him Ed Gein. Oh my God, you're Ed Gein.
Am I missing something? Why is that a joke?
That's the guy that Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based on. The real life serial killer who made furniture upholstered out of people's skin.
Yeah. Like he's a big part of like literally every movie serial killer ever.
Okay, well that helps me put a story to the name of the picture over my over my mantle.
No, that's John Wayne Gacy. It's just a picture of clowns.
He too also inspired many movies. So anyway, this chick is flirting with him, like, "Hey, I love your work, and I'm glad to see you like out and about and everything. And would you be able to sign these for the store? My boss is gonna go crazy." And a guy comes up and totally cockblocks him because he goes, "Let me see if I have it exactly." He says, "Hey, hey man, I love your work. You should write a book about that guy you murdered." That's where you learn that he killed somebody.
Holy shit.
I think his wife was cheating on him with some dude, so he killed the guy, because that makes sense.
So he killed a different person to get his anger out.
Yeah.
They
they did have a funny moment with an old guy who was dressed up like the stereotypical nerd with the black horn rim with the tape around the glasses, and he goes, "Oh, hi, can you sign this?" He's like, yeah, I'll sign it. He goes, "Who are you?" He's like,
"You've been served, motherfucker."
And he's like, "I'm Jack." I think it's Jack something. It's definitely Jack something.
It's a weird last name.
Jack Hoff. He's like,
middle name
Jack
It's
Fryer.
like, "I'm Jack Hoff," and he's like, "Oh, nice to meet you." But just how he's like, sign this. Who are you? So let's see. Okay, so he gets sucked back.
Wait, so who was he?
No, the old guy was asking the comic book artist who he was, but then he's like, but he was asking for his signature, but didn't know who he was.
Okay. I thought you were just gonna leave us hanging on the edge of that cliff.
Oh, my bad. I thought I made it clear.
No, I got it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm just an idiot.
So he gets,
Well, I'm paying more attention because I'm responsible.
he falls back asleep and he gets sucked back into the cool world. And he sees
Does Holly suck him?
I was
back?
gonna say he gets sucked. All right.
Just wait, please.
I like how every time we make a joke, Charlie is like, "Wait for it."
Okay, so some of these character designs are really interesting. That he gets teleported into the cool world, and this gang approaches him immediately, and the leader of the gang is a baby with switchblades for fingers, and he immediately tries to kill him, even though he's like, "Oh, Slash, you're my creation." He's like, "Oh, I don't know who the hell you are," and then tries to kill him. So then that gets busted up. Hollywood is like totally revered in Cool World because everybody fawns over her. Like, she's the most gorgeous person in that cool world. So when she comes over, those guys stop messing with her.
So she's the coolest of the cool world?
Yeah, hella chill. And I'm trying to remember.
She actually has a hat on backwards, and then on top of that backwards hat, a hat on forwards.
Oh, hell yeah.
That she spins around Ash Ketchum style.
And whenever she wears something with collars, she like pops all of them. She's got multiple collars popped. She is just fucking 3 sunglasses on top of one another.
So
stacking things.
Brad Pitt's character gets alerted because the human is back in the world, and he of course comes over and he goes, "Freeze, asshole!" Cool World Police Department holds up a cartoon badge, and everything looks really good. The way they hold it in their hands, it all looks definitely really right there. And we learn that he has some of his gear with him in the Cool World, not Brad Pitt's character, Jack's character, and he has a pen with him, and everybody freaks out when they see it because that essentially is like a magic wand there because he can just draw whatever he wants and create that object. So Holly is trying to steal that. She likes Jack.
So it's like Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Yeah, kind of. She likes Jack because he created her, but her main goal is to get over to the real world. She wants to experience that. In fact, she talks about her main reason why she wants to go over there. She tries to seduce Brad Pitt, and
he's like, "Nah, girl, I don't want that happening."
She heavily tries to seduce him. Shit, I'm trying to remember what I was going for now. Crap.
Damn.
I'm sorry. There's so much seduction in this fucking movie. It's hard to keep individual scenes straight. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'm going through like the whole damn movie.
Mm-hmm.
So Brad Pitt establishes that the number one and only rule in Cool World is that cartoons cannot have sex with people.
Everything else is fair game.
Well, I mean, you got a baby that's got switchblades for fingers calling everybody a cunt. I mean, it sounds like it's just
Australian.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I'm bloody cunt over here, mate. G'day.
So we
get kangaroos, dingoes.
Get a slab out of the esky.
Vegemite.
My bad. I remember now. So Hollywood is talking to Brad Pitt, and he's like, "Hey, you can't do this. Don't do this." And she's just saying her whole reason she wants to go into the real world is so that she can become a human and feel what it's like for a man to be inside of her.
Wait, that's her.
Anyway.
Hey, I mean, honestly, that's a dream we all have.
So that's her primary character motive. We learned that Brad Pitt has a cartoon side piece that like they. Kiss.
Is it filled with rootin' tootin' Wild West bullets like in Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
No, I think he meant like a girl that he's fucking that's a cartoon.
But he's not fucking her because he's following the rules. But he says that like he's like
he just gets his dick sucked by
he's
her.
like I don't feel like doing some stuff tonight because we can never take it all the way and that's hard for me. He said he's like a plug without a socket. Yeah.
And then it actually is a socket.
Something's definitely
so
hard.
Jack is going around and Holly's kind of manipulating him, but not really in an evil way. But it's still kind of off-putting, if that makes sense. She's not trying to like get him killed. She wants to take him with.
Charlie, I get what you're
She
saying.
will Brad Pitt?
No, Jack's character.
Okay.
Charlie, I get what you're saying. She's manipulating like all women, right? Am I right? Oh, guys, we're all guys here. I mean, let's talk guys
Especially
talk.
cartoon
Oh,
women.
yeah. So
I don't agree with these things.
I feel
Cartoon
like
women are so shallow.
Oh, dude, I know. Tell me about
flaky.
I like that you guys like do these things. I'm assuming that you guys do these things with like the intention that I will stop it.
No, I thought you were gonna go along with it.
Did you?
A little bit. I don't know.
But you're right.
Oh shit, that was loud.
Okay, and so Brad Pitt.
I'm sorry.
Brad Pitt has the capability to go back over to the real world anytime he wants, but he was sent over after such a tragedy. He just got back from war and his mother just died. That he's like, there's nothing left for me there. I'm gonna stay here and just try and protect that world at least.
All right.
So it's honorable, but he's also just kind of scared to move forward with his life. So
Wow, this just got real relatable.
Well,
I mean, the whole having. The whole man inside you thing was I thought
already relatable.
I thought that was the pinnacle of the relatability. Yeah.
I thought the pinnacle was being thrust into a cartoon world.
So Jack and Holly have been driving around trying to escape some gangs and stuff like that. Her car has a butt on the back, so she takes him up to the front of.
It's called a boot.
Nope, it's an ass. She takes him up to the top of their penthouse, and all the gang members are trying to peep in through the window. She proceeds to have sex with him, and they show it, and she has what appears to be an orgasm on top of him and becomes a real person at that point, because that's how you transition over.
Well, yeah.
I did not know anything about this movie.
Well, that's how we all know, Charlie, that you actually haven't had an orgasm because you're so animated.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That's what whenever you say to somebody, whenever somebody says like, "Oh man, that person's real animated," that means they're saying they've never came before.
So they transfer over.
Steve's giving me like the most disapproving look.
So they transfer over into
I'm in
the
shock.
real world then, and she's just acting goofy, like in that movie where Tyra Banks goes from being a Barbie to a real person.
Life size.
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost like that exactly, but definitely better.
So you're saying her legs and knees were quivering?
Mm-hmm.
She
Exactly.
can hardly walk after that.
Yeah, I mean, she just goes up to a lot of people and it's like, make love with me, have sex with me, and stuff like that.
Hey.
Yeah, so her whole goal when she gets to Las Vegas is to go to the Spike of Power, which is just one of the towers in Las Vegas. And everybody's telling her that. She's like, that's the Spike of Power. And like, I mean, it's just some lights. She's like, no, that'll...
No, she's looking for the spike of power.
Is it an actual place in Vegas? I mean,
I don't remember. It was just like
it's
any one of
actually
the
the,
towers, I mean.
I got you.
Oh, I was thinking it was like the fake Eiffel Tower in
No.
Paris Hotel.
Well, because now that they're both back, there's some problems going on where they keep every now and then fluctuating into cartoon characters,
Right.
like you see in the trailer, but it's not... Well, Jack never was one, but Holly isn't transferring back to the cartoon she was. They're both like kind of
Like flickering almost.
fucked up looking, but they're fucked up looking cartoons. It's not their character. It's like somebody else. So they're trying to get to the Spike of Power to fix it, to cure the transition. So... Oh, and I also have a note on here written that pencil dick is the most used insult in here because, of course, it is. All right, how far do you want me to go? Because that's coming up to the climax.
Okay, we'll switch.
Sorry.
You already got to the climax, Charlie.
I just want to say that like that's kind of ironic that they use pencil dick as an insult when like a pencil would be a magic wand in this universe.
A pen would be.
Pencil's not good enough.
There's no definitive answer.
I mean, a pencil, you can erase these motherfuckers.
I mean, I guess I could ask Martin Scorsese, but he probably doesn't like to think about this movie anymore.
Wait, what?
He directed it.
You can't be telling me the truth with that.
Correct.
Okay, good. I was like, that can't be. That just can't be true. All right.
Sorry, I went on for a long time.
No,
Were you about to go over?
No,
it?
I was gonna say-
I didn't know you were both looking at me and you weren't
I was
saying
just
anything.
getting ready to say Tyler.
Sorry, that was a lot of info.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's gonna make me look like a piece of shit, though.
Stay tuned. Hit me.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just the cold open. It's one of those. It was part of.
It was a dark and stormy night.
Well, the cold open is pretty much part of the trailer we watched, where it's like that older couple with the popcorn, and then dude comes at the door and is like, "Hey, I got this remote for you," and then guy disappears, wife disappears. Adam Sandler shows up. You're right.
Christopher
He
Walken
goes.
is
He
also
goes. Yeah, he goes to the Beyond section of Bed Bath and Beyond. I know too much about that movie. Why do I remember that?
No, that's perfect. I enjoy it. Sean Astin's in it. Go.
And then later we find out, John Ritter spins. He's like a plumbing. He like sells plumbing stuff. It's never really clear like what exactly he sells. Yeah, it's kind of weird because he seems like one of those door-to-door type salesmen because he has like a briefcase that has all the stuff in it that he wants to sell, but I think he only may go to businesses. It's not like it's not actual houses he goes to. It's like
Probably like a
he
salesperson
still
for
makes
the
sales
manufacturer, but he
Yeah.
sells
He's
it to
like-
like hardware stores and
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah, he's like Packer from The Office.
Yeah, and so he's like selling plumbing stuff. I don't really think it's ever made 100% clear what exactly he sells. It's just like, oh hey, you sell plumbing.
Nondescript
So he knows how to
plumbing
lay,
and plumbing accessories.
he knows how to lay pipe.
Oh yeah, dude. That's how he starts his sale. He's like, hey, if anybody knows how to lay some pipe, it's your boy. Now,
kicking that funky bass line.
You want to learn how to lay some pipe? Let me tell you. And then he busts out into a rap, and he turns his hat around. I'm making a lot of backwards hat jokes.
This sounds like the greatest movie ever. Sorry, Charles.
No, he and then you find out though all the time he spends at home is watching TV. Like he is reciting lines to movies and TV. Like that's all he does is watch TV. His wife is obviously getting pretty fed up with this. He doesn't listen to her when she talks to him. He doesn't do anything.
Don't we all not listen when they talk? See, I'm part of it.
I mean,
you chauvinist.
You misogynistic fuck.
We try and be progressive on this their podcast.
Yeah, we're not going for those low tier jokes, Steve. This is 2017.
Hey, the power spike in my movie is a sperm.
Sweet
or the key he
just
uses.
one sperm.
Yes.
Oh,
my bad, the power key to activate the power spike.
Oh
I'm sorry.
My God, no! You don't have to apologize for that movie. So
apparently Martin Scorsese does.
So the kids also are like, hey, the dad's kind of fucked. They got two kids, so like our parents are like, you know, there's something going on with our parents, and the kids kind of do this thing where they're like, hey, we're gonna go out for like the next day, like pretty much leave the house to just them. And because the son is saying he had a friend whose parents were kind of on the fringe, and then they had alone time and they went on a trip, and it kind of helped mend things because they got to just spend time together.
And so the kids are taking it upon themselves to give their parents a little alone time.
Yeah, not really. They didn't really tell them that, but they're just like, the kid kind of tells the mom that story, and then both the kids kind of leave. They're like, "Hey, we're hanging out."
Tell the dad this.
We're hanging out and the mom's like, "Okay, I see what you guys are doing." Yeah, you know. And she tries to talk to the dad, John Ritter, and you know, it's fucked. And I think she might. She gets super pissed at him and breaks the TV, and he then has like a tiny little TV on top from like the kitchen or something that he's watching stuff on, and I think she went to bed or went somewhere. She's not there for this scene, and the kids aren't there either, which is important because then that means Jeffrey Jones can actually come in within 100 feet of the house.
Sick.
and he
was camped out for hours waiting.
He was. And so
but he took a deep breath when he came in the house.
Well, I mean, he had his binoculars to make sure that they could look. And
it's only holding them with one hand, though.
So Jeffrey Jones shows up, and he's like, we find out this is the guy that was.
Are they gone?
Good. And he
good.
And he sells them. He doesn't sell. He pitches this idea of like a new TV with like surround sound, all this stuff, you know, satellite with all these fucking channels, like so many channels. I think he even says like 666 channels.
It would have been fun if he's like 50 channels.
It's like some bullshit number.
Either 50 channels or 50 bajillion. Like one of the two.
50 bajillion channels.
My God.
But nothing is on.
The classic, you know. Steve, when is your stand-up routine?
As soon as I'm done stealing all of my material from things like the Fairly Odd Parents.
From Charlie, yeah. He's pitching this idea, and John Ritter's like, no, I can't, you know, afford all this shit. And Jeffrey Jones is like, oh, no, actually, we can give you a free, you know, 7-week or 2-week free trial of, you know, the TV and the surround sound and all this stuff. And if you don't like it, you know, give it back. If you like it, pay for it, kind of thing. And John Ritter's like, oh, fuck yeah, I need a new TV anyway. Gets it in there. This huge satellite is put in the backyard. I mean, fucking gargantuan. Like, you know, NASA uses this kind of satellite to project
some Spaceballs type shit.
Yeah, exactly. The wife finds out about this, and she's super pissed. They end up on the backyard. She's like, I'm leaving, and I guess she goes out the back. I don't know why. She goes out the back, and they both get sucked in by the satellite. And then the movie is them kind of progressing through these different channels, and you find out that Jeffrey Jones he's not the devil, but he's a part of like the Satan's Brigade, I guess you could say. And so is Eugene.
Is he one of the Devil's rejects?
No, he's not rejected. He is definitely.
He's still
Is he in a house of 1,000 corpses, though?
I think there was only 950 corpses.
That's where they get you.
And so,
but who's counting normally? They can fudge that.
Rob Zombie.
It's Jeffrey Jones, Eugene Levy, and then just like some new guy who said that he got his he went to UCLA and did his like thesis paper on Kurosawa, so he deserves to be in hell.
Is Eugene Levy black in this one?
Kurosawa, my bad. Yeah, what'd you say?
Is Eugene Levy black in this movie?
No, he's not actually.
Okay. It's funny because he's not black in any movie
or in real life.
Yes.
And so
it's impossible to
Eugene
say.
Levy and then the Kurosawa guy are the Kurosawa guy's new. And Eugene Levy is kind of like the assistant to Jeffrey Jones. And I guess they're all dead, technically, and this is like maybe their purgatory or something. They're working there. And what happens is Jeffrey Jones, this department, it's like this TV kind of weird department where they have a deal. They don't make it 100% clear. They say they have a deal with the other side. So you're kind of left to assume that that's like heaven kind of thing, where they can
like test people or something.
They can pretty much these people that are kind of pieces of shit on the fringe. So they were only trying to get John Ritter because he's a piece of shit. They can grab him, and for 24 hours, if John Ritter survives or like passes through all this shit in 24 hours, then he can go back, and they don't steal his soul. But if he doesn't make it, then they steal his soul, and so. They're like monitoring him the whole time, and he goes through a bunch of different,
like
types
RIPD.
types of
exactly
types of TV worlds. And there's a bunch of different like jokes on names of movies and TV shows and other stuff like that. And then he makes it through. There's a final showdown between him and Jeffrey Jones. The kids kind of figure out what's going on because the son watches the TV and he's like, is that dad? Like, what the fuck? And then they like say their parents' names and he's like, okay, what? And they figure out a way to kind of communicate with them and help them out. And it turns out in the end, John Ritter gets out, but they find a clause in the contract that says it's only one soul, so they're able to keep the wife. And then John Ritter's like, no, I'm going back in. I'm saving, my wife. And he goes in, he's able to save his wife, get her out, and they're able to mend everything. So, yeah, that's a quick synopsis.
How does he mend him? Like, how does he get her out, too?
Well, he has to go back and he fights. He pretty much fights Jeffrey Jones to the quote-unquote death, in a way. Like, he bests... Jeffrey Jones has this, like, magic remote that can pretty much... is
detect
what banish
children.
Yeah. Well, make sure... It tells how many feet away they are from him.
Yeah.
And he can banish people to the TV realm with that.
Okay.
And so he's able to... John Ritter, like, gets that from him and then uses it against him, kind of thing.
And banishes him to the TV realm?
He's able to use that to get out of the TV world. And, banish... yeah, pretty much. I mean, because Jeffrey Jones can go in and out, but then he doesn't have this remote anymore, so he can't go in and out. And John Ritter's able to get out.
So, yeah, okay. Sounds good.
There's lots of banishment to other realms in our movies.
Yeah, the chaos or the shadow realm is the main.
The nether.
Nether's of the realm. Yeah, no.
Yugi takes him. Pushes
Yeah.
him to the shadow realm.
I don't know what that means.
It's from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. The Obelisk, the Tormentor, as a guy.
Sky Dragon.
I can't remember the one that he tells to obliterate. It's Exodia. Yeah, that's right.
Exodia.
Yeah, that one.
For some reason, I just remembered the guy that I already forgot. Obelisk the Tormentor. Because I fucking love that
Blue
name.
Eyes Aryan Dragon.
The Tormentor. Well, and then, Scyther the Sky Dragon. Dude, get with your shit.
I'm sorry.
That Scyther's the Pokemon. It's Slifer.
All right,
My
Steve.
bad.
All right. So Charlie, I kind of looked up
P to V.
How many times? Just tell us.
Fuck, I don't know.
No,
counting
I looked.
thrust.
I looked up some old works, or some other works of these people. For Brad Pitt, one of them was his titular role in Thelma and Louise, where he
Is
seduces.
Thelma?
No, he seduces some women and then steals all of their money.
Mm.
What did this beautiful man take from Jack At what point does he take something, and what does he get from him?
Well, this is the one where he's like that myth, and he's like able to fight off armies of people. And then he
exactly.
Yeah,
he
and
takes Jack's Helen of Troy.
Okay.
No, let me think about this.
No.
I mean, Jack really wants to be with Holly because that's his creation. That's the perfect woman to him as far as her character. And Brad Pitt's character kind of takes away a happy possible future with Holly because he kind of pushes her over the edge to try and go and escape that world and fix herself. And Brad Pitt's character is chasing her to the top of the spike, and she eventually just snaps and loses it and pushes him off the building, and he falls to his death.
Oh, shit.
So I guess he kind of takes her away from Jack in the sense that she's like beyond saving at that point, and he's died. So now Jack has her in the real world, but he doesn't really want her, if that makes sense.
Okay, so you made it sound like she was just like trying to get all the dick possible when she became human. Like, does she still love Jack? Like, but
she keeps getting pissed at him because he's like, hey, the spike of power is bullshit. You know, it's not going to do anything. It's just a light pole at the top of the building, and she's getting mad at that. But she still likes him, but she also likes penis.
How does he know how much it weighs?
What?
You said it was a light pole at the top of a building.
Well, I mean, you can just tell that it's a hollow structure with holes around it and stuff.
Okay. And my stand-up routine is start.
All right, Tyler. So I know you're probably thinking of a different question for this, but one of John Ruther's other roles was, of course,
come on, knock on my door. Oh,
8 Simple Rules.
It was
to dating my teenage daughter. However, I'm not going to ask you a question about 8 of something.
Okay.
I am going to ask you if during this production, John Ritter suddenly died.
Dang, that's a different.
Who would they replace him with?
How much money would that one guy, I forget his name, pay to try to be the father of those kids?
That's a crazy. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna have to go with
Vin Diesel.
No, with James Garner and David Smith.
No, I always get the two mixed up. Which is the bad Belushi? Is it
Jim?
Jim.
Yeah,
No,
Jim.
John.
Jim.
According to Jim, is the good
Yeah.
one.
Jim. I was
Let's
gonna
lose
say
those
Jim.
subscribers.
I mean, obviously, it would have to be Jim Belushi because I feel like that was the perfect time period for Jim Belushi to be like, we got to get him in.
I didn't know he had a perfect time period.
I mean,
no. I think
he had a time period for him that was perfect.
Yeah, it was
not for consumers.
When he was the one that was left, and that nobody knew how bad he was.
Well, and honestly, I mean,
that short window of time.
I mean, there's a good amount of time that John Ritter spends on a recliner, and that just mirrors according to Jim's character.
Yeah.
So
is John Ritter's wife like way out of his league?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course. Actually, I don't know. John Ritter. I don't think John Ritter's like an ugly person.
No.
Like he's.
But he's not like a stud or.
No,
anything.
he's not a stud. I don't think the wife is
anything to write home about.
I mean,
she's not a Hollywood
dude.
She's real.
Yeah. she's not unattractive. I mean, she's attractive, but she's not like.
Gotcha.
I mean, yeah, I
Neither
can't
of
think
them are stoners. I mean,
yeah, sure.
They match up as a cut. Like you're not like, oh man.
I would say she's probably more attractive to than him, but then again, I'm also a straight male, so that probably factors into
this person without a dong is more appealing to my eyes
Yeah.
than this one with one.
that probably factors into that. But yeah, that's I guess Jim Belushi would take over.
God, oh man!
But he would be doing John Belushi impersonations, like characters. So he would be the Samurai Delicacy,
deli guy, and the cheeseburger guy.
Yeah, and then he would also just every now and then go, "Hey, what am I?" And then he'd put a bunch of mashed potatoes in his mouth, and he would punch his cheeks, and he'd go, "Zit." Yeah, so that's
all right. Okay.
That runs my John Belushi references dry.
I unfortunately. This question was already answered by Charlie, but I was going to ask.
Let me see if I can answer it even better.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's a pretty easy question.
Yes.
But
how are you?
Brad Pitt spent 7 years in Tibet. How many years did he spend in Cool World? But you said it was after World War II.
like 50 years or so.
Yeah, so that...
Wait, so did
Like
he
I
not
said-
age in Cool
No.
World?
I mean, clearly.
Yeah, but this might... I don't... But then you said he goes back to the real world.
Yeah.
Does
And
he
then
age,
he
does
doesn't-
he age all at once?
I was just about to say,
He's
does
basically
he,
on pause.
Does he... Okay, but when he goes back to the real world, he's still on pause? He doesn't... Okay.
No, well, then he would start aging from when he...
And then he actually reverse
left.
ages?
Mhm.
And,
full loop.
and he becomes Benjamin Button. Take that, David Fincher.
Right. So now we're gonna go back to the old Three's Company, Tyler.
Okay.
Outside of his wife, was there another person that John Ritter's character had a will they or won't they relationship?
No.
No, not even
Jeffrey
in Three-
Jones.
Not even Eugene Levy.
not even when he was on.
Well, that's
Three's Company.
racist.
No, actually, the...
No, we established that he's not actually.
I guess. I mean, I'll spoil this a little bit. I guess I figure there's going to be a question or something about the different parody channels. But when he's on Three's Company, it really is. It's almost just a sight gag to the extent that it's near the end of the movie, and it's when he's in the final fight and he's getting kind of fucked with Jeffrey Jones, and he ends up in a house, and it's like, come on, I gotta do.
Do they really play the song?
Yeah,
or do
but
they just play like
it's-
something
it's-
vaguely
it's-
like it?
It's. I'm pretty sure it's the lyrics, but it's not the exact same. So they could
Music.
probably get away with it.
Right.
But it's still like, come on, knock on our door. We've been waiting for you. And I was, because I was like, shit, isn't that the real? But then the girls walk in. They're like, hey, where have you been? He's like, ah, and then he transforms into Macaulay Culkin, and
That would
that
be
was
God.
that was
so,
only.
so impressive.
That joke was
5
only
years.
Yeah, that joke was only like good for you guys because you saw me scream and put my hands to my
No,
face.
everybody. No, if you go and you say turn into Macaulay Culkin, everybody immediately assumes your hands are on your
and
face.
and then it
He
kind
puts his hands on his face and he goes, and turns into
That's-
Richie Rich.
of and then turns.
And then they're like, "Oh no, my dad's John Larroquette."
I was gonna make another
Wait,
joke,
no,
but
it's
I
not his dad.
I forgot
That's it's the guy that's trying to kill his
I
dad.
forgot the name of the
Fool.
movie. Oh, and then he turns into Dennis the Menace. Was he Dennis the Menace? I don't
No.
know. Shit.
No.
I always Richie Rich and Dennis the Menace. I feel like they're the same thing.
He was the good
Nah,
son.
one's rich.
And
They're
one's
both
a menace.
they're both assholes.
Oh, good, fair enough. One just has a slingshot. The other has a roller coaster.
I know,
Slingshot.
I know which one I want to be friends with.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously the one that has fucking Scrooge McDuck as their dad or whatever, or their uncle. So you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can trampoline into a goddamn swimming pool of ice cream. By the way, I loved that episode of DuckTales. I was like, man, that ice cream looks good.
What the fuck is the question again?
No, I was gonna say it was about Three's Company. It was
gotcha.
pretty much just it was more of a
a hero's trial.
no, it was more of an homage than it was a joke.
Okay.
Because it was it was just that kind of bit, that little. I mean,
Yeah.
not even
Yeah.
a minute long. So it was more of just a like, oh hey, he was on TV, like
Not yet.
you know,
this was
a
his most
nod to
famous
the fact.
role.
Yeah, a nod to the fact that he was on that. So it wasn't. Yeah.
Right. All right, Charlie. What this is? It's basically going to build into the question that you were expecting here in a second, Tyler. But Charlie, what were there any good I guess knockoff character, like famous cartoon characters that were like easily identifiable but not quite?
Oh, some you could see in the background. Like there's clearly a Daffy Duck in the background. Some of the wolf cartoons, like when they go and there's a strip club scene, the ones that are like ooga ooga, you know, and their tongues
Yeah,
rolling
I
out
know
and
you're
stuff.
talking about.
Those were like clearly taken or homages. And there would be faces in the background of the sky, kind of that you could see that were certain cartoon characters that were recognizable and stuff
Okay.
like that. But
All right, and then Tyler, similar kind of a similar question. What was your favorite program that they were?
Yeah.
part
Okay.
of?
Well, there are actually a couple that got genuine laughs from me, like a little chuckles or whatever.
The old chortle.
Well, because a lot of them weren't. A lot of them really were just almost like one-liners to the
Okay.
that extent. It's not. There were a lot that weren't focused on. You'd say that kid. Kid's watching the parents on TV, but then they go through a portal to a different station, and he's like, "Fuck, where are they?" And he's changing the channels, and it kind of is going by like the channels to try to find them, kind of thing.
Right.
One that I really liked and I thought was pretty funny was there were these two old guys sitting on a couch, and one of them is like, yeah, I don't know if you guys will be able to guess this before I get to the punchline. One of them is like, "Oh man, I'm slurring my speech," and the other one's like, "Oh, my vision's blurry." And then it cuts to the tagline of different strokes.
That's what I figured. I didn't pull the entire plot line together, but that's a good joke.
Yeah, that actually because it was kind of surprising after a lot of the movie. I wouldn't say that's dark humor, but I don't think
it's a little twisted.
Yeah, I don't think there was a lot of the movie that went to that extent of like a kind of a joke where I was like, oh shit. And there was another one where let me try to find the name here because I got a list. This one just kind of made me. It was really dumb, but it just made me chuckle a little bit. It was called Northern Overexposure. And they're like, we're a show where this, guy talks way too much about his problems while he's working at a hospital or something. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cute, I guess, in a way. It's an easy joke. And I'll just
our favorite.
And then there was a thing near the end where I was not near the end. I would say I guess halfway mark, where it was kind of like a Leave It to Beaver kind of, and I think that's what it was supposed to be parodying. But it was like black and white, like little kid, and it's like family, and it's like Meet the Masons, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it's like with so and so as Chuck. Manson, sorry. Meet the Mansons. I said that wrong. And it's like with so-and-so as Chuck Manson. And it's like this little kid riding a bike. And he's like, Mom! And I was like, oh, shit.
Look at this cool swastika tattoo I got in between my eyes.
Oh, honey.
You're so persuasive.
But, yeah, I'd say those were the three that kind of stuck out to me. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Those sound pretty decent. Okay, so the old traditional question, Charlie, what would you have done? What would you have done to the trailer to make you want to have seen this?
I would give more information about Brad Pitt's job as far as what he's doing. Because from the trailer, from what I remember, he was just kind of there, and you had no idea why.
He might have said cop, or I might have just known
we knew he was
a
a detective.
Yeah,
but. What like he's not just solving normal crimes, he's only doing like universe hopping crimes,
right?
And kind of why he's there, maybe allude to the fact that he can go back but he doesn't because of his past or something like that, because his story was interesting, it just wasn't alluded to at all in the trailer, so I would put more of his in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm guessing you're asking me the same question.
Yes, Tyler, same question to make it clear to
I
listeners.
think that I'm gonna say something similar, and I mean, I don't. It's been a week, over a week now since we watched those trailers, so this could have been in the trailer. But I feel like, why they're in TV? Like, I feel like in the trailer it was just like
he got sucked in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's like, oh hey, John Ritter, you know him? He's in a TV now. Like, it's like, okay, wait, what the fuck? Why?
I remember them lingering on the MTV one for so long. Or I don't know if it was actually MTV.
The Wayne's World one?
No, the one where he's like dancing in the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Not that it wasn't funny or anything, but I just remember them lingering on that for a long time when that could have been spent in like an extra 5 seconds of him getting sucked into the TV.
I mean, I think they implied that it was Jeffrey Jones? Okay,
Jeff Johns. Creative director at DC Comics.
Jeffrey Jones, I think they implied that he was part of the reason, but I don't think, then it wasn't, clear why.
It was essentially him just looking creepy in the doorway, being like, I have a TV.
Yeah, so they just said, pretend. They said, all right, well, your direction is you're at a child's house.
I didn't say candy, I said TV.
And
I have a candy.
Yeah, I feel like if they just kind of made it more clear what the fuck was going on in the movie, that would have helped. At least, I mean, at the very least, maybe get some AIS, the ass in seats, for the movie, because that trailer we watched was pretty vague, like we were saying. It was just like, oh hey, this movie's. It
was a bunch of cut takes.
Yeah, and it kind of made the movie seem like it was just a hour and a half long bit. where it was like, hey, come see the wacky names we made for all these TV shows.
It's like what you would show a board of executives after you tell them the plot of the movie. If you're pitching it and you film some stuff, you have like a sizzle reel. Like, these are the kind of sscenes you'll see. This is what the story's about. And then show them those to just give them some quick scenes.
Yeah, exactly. So I would add more just... I know that nowadays it's a hindrance to a lot of trailers where they show too much. But I also feel like there's that sweet
spine to the story.
Yeah, there's a sweet spot there where you show just enough to be like, oh, okay, I get what's going on, and then yeah.
Okay. I think we should go into final thoughts.
Oh, hold on. I remember when I first saw the trailer for The Marine when I
you remember where you were
when I watched it on the Blu-ray of The Marine, and I thought that it was really well put together. So.
Okay.
Okay. And since we're talking about movies that we love and the DVD extras and stuff like that, Jeffrey Jones definitely channeled a lot of Howard the Duck, bad guy in this movie.
I don't know where this is going, but...
Well, he's the bad guy in Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
And he did that... I know you haven't seen it, Steve, but Charlie, I guess this is more to you for confirmation. He did a lot of that voice where it's like... Yeah, he did... Like, when he was trying to be intimidating, he's like, I don't like that. And it's like, oh, that's the bad guy from Howard the Duck. Like, that's almost exactly...
Children, why do you run so fast?
that kind of thing.
That was a great impersonation. I don't know who listening right now has seen Howard the Duck, but that was a fucking great impersonation of Jeffrey Jones's character as the bad guy in Howard the Duck.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Hats off to you. That sounded really good.
I know, but that doesn't make me happy.
Okay, now that we've taken that weird detour... I guess we'll start with Tyler on this one.
Yeah.
Tyler, final thoughts.
I would say that there were some of those moments where it was kind of like like it kind of seemed like, you know, a writer's room just fucking jacking their little dicks around each other, being like, oh, hey, the fucking silencer the lambs on kids, am I right? And like shit like that. There's a few of those where you're just like, oh, okay, dude, yeah, you're so clever. I mean, no, you guys.
I know what you mean.
You guys know exactly what I mean. When you see a joke it's almost like, okay, how can I fit this one-liner into this movie? You know,
and this movie was built for
And
those.
and it had some of those, but then there were others that were actually kind of funny. You know, the different strokes one was actually kind of funny and clever. The northern overexposure. It was like. And that actually was a show that they were in.
Yeah, I mean, and that was like really striking while the iron was hot on that one.
I'm sure, yeah. Because that show aired in the 90s, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was... It was also like not just a passing by. It was one of the shows they were in. So they were like northern overexposure, and they're like in Alaska or whatever, and they're doing... And then it cuts to them. So it wasn't as... I would say that was the worst part, is just those little tiny like bits where they're trying to get some stupid jokes across. But overall, it was an interesting concept, and seeing, you know, these characters, that story of them being sucked into like a TV and going through these weird different, you know, genre type shows. And then also, I mean, they were a cartoon for a while. Which was, and it was
that was kind of the when I was looking up the movies, I saw basically just a screen cap of them as the cartoons, and that was kind of why I put these two up against each other.
I gotcha, yeah, and that was one of the scenes where they were actually in there for a little bit, and that was kind of a parody of Tom and Jerry mixed with like the old WB cartoon shows,
right?
Like, you know, Roadrunner and stuff like that. Because one of the ways he beats, it's like a robot cat, and they're mice. And one of the ways he beats it, he's like, think like a cartoon, and he like writes a letter to Acme Incorporated, and he like mails it, and he orders a like robot dog that, you know, classic cartoon style kind of thing. And they actually defeat the cat once, and then they defeat it by luring it into a bathtub and then throwing a plugged-in hairdryer.
And that sounds like a cartoon. And then it gets up in the air and it goes,
and the female mouse goes, "Don't try this at home, kids." But yeah, and then when it's like completely, you know, destroyed, it has a little like kind of screen on it or something like that, and it displays Second Life. or life number 2 or something like
Right.
that, and then it pulls out a magnet like from its base, and it like pulls in all its parts, and it becomes the cat again. So I mean, the stuff where they actually went in on, where they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do this." So I understand those stupid little moments where they got to do a little joke, because it can't just be these 5 or 6, shows that they're doing a lark of. But I feel like that was the weakest point. Were those little bits? It was yeah.
Okay. Charlie.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you how my movie ends, or
I do. Just hit me.
So remember, I told you Brad Pitt gets pushed off the building. All right.
Yes.
So he's dead in the real world. So then Jack realizes that he needs to stop Holly from activating this power spike, and he has this ever since he's come back, he's been switching it into a cartoon, but he kind of has this cartoon, cosmic force emanating from him. So he turns into a cartoon superhero, flies up, stops her, but she's already started a little bit. So probably about half the city's turning into a cartoon, and all these cartoons are just killing people, like real people.
Holy
but when
shit.
they die, they turn into a cartoon then afterwards. Huh. But they still remember being killed, and they're horrified then that they're a cartoon now, and they just don't. The people just don't understand.
Yeah, that's really fucked up, actually.
Yeah, it kind of ties into where I'll go with my final thoughts.
Okay.
So
movie is fucked up.
He pulls her away from it and starts reversing it all, and he eventually gets pulled back into the cartoon world with Brad Pitt's character and Hollywood as well. But Jack is now that superhero character, permanently, because he's unlocked his inner being and what he always wanted to be. Because since he created Cool World, he's always wanted to be there.
Right.
But he obviously didn't know it was real, so he's thinking oh, this is just the comic I'm creating. So if he has the opportunity to, he's gonna stay in there. So with Brad Pitt's dead body in there, the side piece comes over and she's like, "Oh my God, he's dead." And then she remembers, "Oh wait, when people get killed by cartoons, they turn into cartoons." And Holly had flickered into a cartoon at that moment when she pushed him off the building. So Brad Pitt's character becomes a cartoon in Cool World, and they then are able oh, he's a cartoon now. So they can bang and they fuck in their final scene.
Nice. I had to do a sidebar here. How many cartoon titties do we see?
0 bear.
Shit.
I don't know if it's R-rated
Charlie
or not.
lost.
I don't know. This is.
I know.
But hold on.
Steve's all about them cartoon titties.
So Jack is still pissed at Holly, but they're almost forced to stay together.
Of course she is. Am I right? I mean, women always.
I'm not falling for it this
always
time.
killing people.
Always mad.
So she's kind of pissed, and he's like,
'Cause
"Oh, we can live over here, and we can
us
do all
guys.
that, and do all this." And that's the final scene of the movie, is them walking off in the sunset together, and she's just kind of butthurt that she's not able to be in the real world anymore.
And Twitter goes insane.
So yeah, exactly.
that was a real obscure
So-
joke.
So my take on the movie is that it is, like Tyler said, it is fucked up, but it held my attention the entire time. This was it was easy to watch, and that it was just
In that
damn,
it was
what
under
the
an hour and a
hell
half.
is no, it was an hour and 48, I think.
Mine was under an hour and a half.
But I mean, it was this movie is fucked up, but I wanted to know what happened next. And some of the concepts were interesting. I wish I would have expanded more on Brad Pitt's character.
Right.
But they still did develop it to a good amount. And so it was just very odd and kind of disturbing. It was like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but more fucked up. And just kind of I want to know what happens in this. I'm not necessarily it's definitely not a feel-good movie.
Right.
Yeah, that's weird that they were wanting to do a more fucked up version of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and they didn't just go full R. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Roger Rabbit was what, 89? Was it
I don't know.
80s?
I don't know. I think it might have been before PG-13 rating.
Okay.
Honestly, I could be wrong, but I feel like that's in that time period where
it's definitely one of those movies that I would believe that it escaped the PG-13.
Yeah, because I think it might be PG, because I feel like I watched it when I was a kid, and then I was one of those kids who had parents that were like, "No, our PG-13 movies unless we approve," and I can't imagine my parents being like, "Yeah, Jessica Rabbit's all right with me,"
and crazy Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah. So I feel like that might have been I mean, again, I am almost always wrong, so I could be wrong about this as well.
That's fair enough.
So that's what I would say. That like watching the movie, out of all the movies we've watched so far, this one definitely I would say is probably top 3 as far as grabbing my attention and holding it and wanting to finish it.
What are the other 2?
I'd have to go back and review my favorites, but as far as I can't think of like 3 off the top of my head, so I would definitely put this up there because it might even be the most after I review the list, but it would be a top 3 for sure.
I got you. I think that, and I think I speak for
9 Lives,
especially
obviously holding my attention so well.
We got to rewatch that. I think it's on Amazon Prime. Maybe
I gotta watch
it. Maybe that should be the first old premium episode.
That would be a good plan.
I think that. I speak well, obviously, with what you're saying, Chuck. I think I speak for both us in saying that this was actually. I thought this was a really good theme. Like, I think this was really cool to. So props to you,
Thank
Steve.
you.
For
I
throwing this
apologize.
out there.
I couldn't get you guys one from each of your birth years, but
No,
I said, I feel like they meshed better by taking Charlie's full year. And
later on, we could always do the other years too.
Yeah, and I like the idea. I mean, I honestly liked the fact that neither of us had heard of any of these movies,
and
which is impressive really.
I had only ever heard of Cool World by like just walking by it in Blockbuster. Like I knew pretty much nothing about it other than the fact that I knew
he walked by it and one of them cartoons tried to fuck you. and you're like, I know the rules.
I think on the box or something, like Brad Pitt just had a police
don't
badge.
Fuck
like I just knew,
cartoons.
like all I know is that Brad Pitt was a cop.
Yeah.
That's all I knew. So
freeze asshole.
Overall,
Police Department.
Overall, none of us knew really anything about these movies. So that was, I'm happy with the way it turned out.
Yeah.
And I must say, as we were talking, I kind of went back and forth on which one I wanted that I would see. Like, there were definitely times where Tyler talking was like, "Oh man, I think I might want to see Stay Tuned more," and then Charlie would say stuff. I was like, "Man, Cool World." So I'm kind of in a tough
little pickle.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna leave.
So see you guys next week. No.
Oh shit. Yeah, I mean,
I think I might go with Cool World.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I knew it. You don't have to apologize.
No, because like there were like going in, I was expecting that the vignettes of Stay Tuned might grab me.
Yeah.
Because I mean like
so
Charlie,
I probably fucked myself saying that the
that didn't help.
Yeah.
Like going away from that was probably.
Hey, I was trying to mix some honesty.
No, I appreciate.
Why?
That. Because we're about to find out how badly Charlie lied.
Because my lies sound more real if you
give
lie
a
around
them.
Oh yeah, if I give that's what I meant to say.
No, wait, what?
I meant to say if I tell truths around a lie, it makes that lie sound more real. But I accidentally said I said lie around a lie.
That's it. It's like whatever.
No,
works,
like there were definitely moments where I thought, man, Stay Tuned sounds actually pretty decent, and then I think there was just like, because there were like I was definitely a little, I don't want to say it this way, but turned off from from like the over comic set. Like that was like I don't know that I really care about seeing all that.
When you first said I don't want to say it this way, I was like, is he gonna say like cunt somehow?
No.
How is he gonna relate that into his views?
Like, I was a little averse towards the just sheer volume of cartoon
I do
simulated sex that it sounded like.
I do like the fact that I feel like we've gone this many episodes. I don't think we've ever actually had an episode that has been put out where someone says cunt and then we've just gone all in on this episode. I think we had a guest say it once, but I think I might have edited it out.
And now you're not going to be able to pull it off this time.
Oh no, I mean it's not like it's that big of a deal. I just think it's funny. Meta.
So listen here, kids.
Meta. Listen
anyway.
here, you little cunts.
Jesus.
You know, I know I make a great joke if Charlie shakes his head with little giggles.
But so final answer. Cool World wins this episode. It really was a close one though. And next time to make it easier on myself, I'm going to give you guys both
non-hentai, please.
No, we're going all in, both double.
More tentacles.
All right, so now that we got that out of the way, I think we're gonna start with the winner, Charlie.
Okay.
Charlie, real thoughts.
All right. I mean, it wasn't like a train wreck, but I texted Tyler that we joked about when we watched the trailer saying that there was that one sex scene.
Right.
It's like, oh, fuck, there's going to be like that one sex scene. And the entire movie revolves around cartoons fucking humans. I mean, it drives the
Sounds
entire...
like you picked the right movie.
It drives the entire narrative.
This is right up your alley.
Almost everybody's character motivations are to fuck the opposite. I don't even know if you'd say form.
Form seems like the best.
Are you saying that because they're cartoons?
Well, cartoons versus humans.
Yeah. So okay.
Not species or anything, but just like humans wanting to fuck cartoons and cartoons wanting to bang humans.
Yeah.
That's what the whole movie is about.
Wait, are there any
success on my part?
You say it that way. Are there any is there any girl wanting to fuck a girl or guy wanting to fuck a guy? Or is it just all hetero?
We're not that progressive.
Everybody's attracted to Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I just asked because you said you were specifically focusing on forms. You weren't. Yeah. Okay.
No, I mean, fuck. Hollywood would have slept with anything. She just wanted to bang.
Interesting.
I'm not joking either. This is I was watching this movie. It's like,
that's
Jesus
why I'm not laughing.
I felt uncomfortable watching this movie at points. By myself, even.
Especially since your whole family was with you. Your grandma was sitting there. Charlie, what did you put on?
Especially it was her copy.
oh, Cool World. I got that.
Mm-hmm. It's actually just a it was a Kodak series of photo slides, and she hooked up her phonograph for the audio track.
Yes. Yeah, so she had to crank it the whole time, and so did you. Bam! Again, my stand-up routine.
But she plugged in the phonograph.
But I kept forgetting to ask this because I would think about it and then I would just forget it before I could ask it. If this world has been around since World War II.
You.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, how old is this dude in jail?
Not old. He's probably in his late 30s.
What the fuck?
So it's one of those things where all that history could have existed because he created a history within the world. So as soon as it's created, it automatically dates back to however.
Oh, so this is
or
some
not
weird
because they reference it and he's just like, wait, how has this been around for so long if I created you? And they're like, anyway.
So this is almost like a theory could be timeline is like a fucking circle, or time is like a circle, or I mean it's not a straight line apparently in this universe because the second
no he lays the line down.
Yeah, but he just plops an infinite line down.
I understand what I know you're laughing, Steve, but that's an explanation to be like when he makes it to exist in the 50s or the 40s.
Yeah.
And so shit, that's still I still don't understand how he just ends up in Cool World. Brad Pitt, that is. He just gets into a crash and he's in Cool World.
Well, the one scientist was trying to open a portal.
Yeah. I remember Charlie saying that. He was.
It's still all fucked.
I mean, he's with
the timeline. That's
so he comes back from war, shows his mother the motorcycle, and then they get in a car accident, and he's in Cool World within the first 3 minutes of the movie.
Okay. So that's how he explains how he got there.
And Jack's character, I'm not joking, you, is on screen for about 5 seconds before he goes to Cool World. You see him in prison drawing his character, and she goes, "Come to me, Jack," and then reaches out of the page, and he gets sucked in there. And he transports to Cool World.
I was about to say, then he gets... and then he goes to Cool World.
And she gives him a leather jacket and a backwards cap and some cigarettes.
It is disgusting when she's riding on top of him. And she has an orgasm and is violently shaking into a human being.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's fucked.
That's even if it wasn't a cartoon, if you're just watching a normal movie and you're seeing that shit, that well, I mean, in the context, obviously, I mean, I know what you do on your alone time, Chuck, but I mean, if you're watching a probably PG-13 movie and you're seeing That's fucking weird. Be like, what the fuck? And then because then in your mind, especially because it's a cartoon, you think of the fact that dude is probably
Someone
just sitting.
animated that.
Someone animated that, and also at that time period, it was probably just a dude laying there acting like he was fucking something. And they're like, "That's good, keep going." And Martin Scorsese's like, "Keep rolling, this is gold."
We need 50 takes of this. Yeah, I mean, everything.
So it wasn't Scorsese, it was Kubrick.
Yeah, exactly.
8 days of filming this
And
scene.
every interaction with Brad Pitt, like trying to interact with the cartoon character, is just terrible. He tries to sling his arm around a lot of characters, just like to walk and talk with them, and it's so over exaggerated. Everything looks pretty bad.
I don't know why you would do that in a movie like this. I don't think. I mean, did Who Framed Roger Rabbit do stuff like that? Like,
yeah,
100%.
It
like,
was more. They did it more. They did it more from the cartoon to the human.
Yeah, which makes more sense.
So like it still kind of created the same frame, but it was easier to do from a logistical
But
standpoint.
also,
Definitely.
didn't that movie make that motherfucker go insane because he was?
Bob Costas?
Yeah, because he was like acting by himself.
Yeah, I think it did.
Well, I mean, it's like similar to the old, well, not to the old, to the story of Ian McKellen for the Hobbit movies, where he is like so much green screen acting, where like after a while you just go fucking like bonkers.
Right.
And I think Ian McKellen like broke down in tears because he's just like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm acting to nothing. I'm sitting here like emoting, and I'm looking at nothing. And yeah, I'm pretty sure, again, I'm mostly wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Bob Costas like had a tough time with that movie because it was, again, it was him around cartoon character, nothing.
I
like
think he took a break and then came back just in time.
for Mario.
Yes. Wait, no, it's not.
That's
No, wait, hold on. Sorry.
That's proof that he went insane.
No, sorry. Mike's probably like so angry at me right now again. I think it's Bob Hoskins.
It is.
Because Bob Costas is like a sports.
That's why I was a little confused, but I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't sound 100% right, but it's more of a name that I came up with, so I'll roll with it. No, but it is Hoskins.
Yeah.
Now you say it, yeah. And I think that he quit acting after Mario Brothers because he was like, well, I don't know what to do.
Because
I've done it all.
And then
that movie broke people.
Yeah, well, no, and
Not
then he's
John Leguizamo.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, he look, and then he looks at John Leguizamo's IMDb. He goes to the theaters and is like, this motherfucker is the little clown dude in Spawn. Are you kidding me? I decided to quit acting.
And he gets to be the sloth.
And he's side by side with a PS2 generated demon. If anybody has not seen Spawn,
This dude gets to play a Hispanic criminal in all sorts of Law and Order episodes. What the fuck?
He's essentially the new Lou Diamond Phillips.
hey, he is in John Wick 1 and 2, and those movies
he's in
are
both?
great. Yeah, he's in both. But people who haven't seen Spawn, it is on Netflix.
I
At
really like
least
Spawn.
I saw it in theaters.
Hey,
As
Todd
a child.
Oh
McFarlane's
shit, you were
writing,
like 8.
Yeah, it was PG-13. So
Todd
my dad took me to
McFarlane's
see it.
writing and directing the new one.
Yeah, I know, which cannot be a bad idea. What? No, it's
Could
going to be awful.
incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody said when what's his name was like, I'm going to direct the next Sin City.
Yeah, and it was dope.
But it's on Netflix. You don't have to watch it. At least fast forward to the scene where he's in hell and just revel in that definitely well-aged CGI like, oh my god. Anyway, so are you done about your movie?
I mean, the concept, I guess, itself wasn't bad. It's just weird that sex is what they picked as their
like,
main driving
yeah.
focus. Way more than you think.
Yeah, it's
way
it seems,
more than
it
you
seems
think.
like something that, I mean, if you made a movie like that and it's all like real people, it would be kind of weird maybe. And it seems like one of those things where they're like, wait, no, if we do it like cartoons, it's not going to be
Then
that
it
weird.
all makes sense that there's this
like
much
like
sex.
people but no, you know what I mean, where there's those
Yeah.
bits where like, no, if we like do this thing with it, then everybody's gonna be like, oh haha, that's funny, like,
Right.
we get it, it's weird, but it
It's
doesn't
disgusting.
yeah, but it doesn't work because you're like, what the like, it's even more
Yeah.
like uncomfortable and what the fuck, because you're like, again, like I said earlier, you're thinking about, okay, that actor is by himself, and somebody drew that, and you're like,
someone drew that girl on his dick.
Shit, it's like when I read, I don't know about anybody else, when I have read the Game of Thrones, the Song of Ice and Fire books, when I read any type of sexual stuff in those books, in my mind, I imagine George R.R. Martin writing that shit, and it like makes me uncomfortable because like I think of him like
it'd be like if you were watching porn with him like on the couch.
Yeah,
and he's like,
exactly.
Please go away.
Like I mean,
Well, not again.
porn that he's writing, and he's got that like in my imagination he's got that stupid little hat on him, and he's typing it at this like DOS running computer because he's like, I don't trust normal I write and
stroking his beard.
Yeah, and he's just
I like
oh yeah, it's so hot. And
I
he's
didn't
like
say his face
jacking
beard.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I like that for you. The old timey way to write is like an old DOS computer instead of like a typewriter.
Well, no, because he
He
said
uses one of those old.
Yeah, he said he
computers.
uses.
I don't even know what kind it is.
I don't remember
Star or something. Star
Yeah.
Writer or something.
Yeah,
okay.
he doesn't use Microsoft Word. He uses
okay.
some shit that was like on like a Commodore 64 or some shit. Like that's why I said DOS. Like he uses a Word type program, but it's old. Like if I heard the name, I'd be like, yeah, that one. But yeah, because he's like, oh, it's what I'm used to, and then he's like, also no hacks, and you're like, dude, you're not writing anything. Nobody believes you. It's been like what 10 years since the last fucking book.
I think I remember it's like because it doesn't have spell check and it makes me
Yeah.
better.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Whatever.
Yeah. He said it doesn't have spell. He got like pissed off the little squiggly lines when he writes like Khaleesi, and it's like squiggly, and he's like, it's a word, damn it.
Just fucking add it in.
Yeah.
Because I had there were a bunch of computers at Florissant Valley Community
Oh shit,
College.
Moneybank's over here went someplace with a bunch of computers.
No, at the library at the community college has my name has been added to a lot of things because I just got sick of that shit.
Yeah. Steve is not a normal name. Okay, so we're still on Charlie's.
Yeah,
final,
that's it.
Real
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
T-Bizzle.
do we want to go? Wait, should I do my thoughts and then
Yeah.
do we typically go into tomato score afterwards or?
Just go for yours and then we'll do the score.
Okay.
Stuff.
Yeah. My movie was really boring. It took me 3 nights to finish it. It wasn't funny. Those moments that I told you were the only moments that gave me a chuckle at all. The different strokes thing got me the biggest laugh.
That was a solid joke.
It was. The Silence of the Lambs thing, which was like parents in a car and then the kids in the back are like singing some stupid song and the parents are like, "Oh my gosh, I wish these kids would shut up." Hold on, I got a list here to make sure that I got it right. And the it's an ad for Silencer of the Lambs, which I guess the joke is that the kids are the lambs of the family.
And they want to keep them quiet.
And they want to, and so they have they have one of those, Hannibal Lecter face masks on them, which I thought was weird. And I was like, okay,
In
that'd
fact, it has a hole for your mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Specifically for him to talk.
Yeah, exactly. And also, it's like, I mean, that could have been funnier if you used like My Family, because we're the lambs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they put in the call and your dad was like, no.
Again, my stand-up routine. No, and
your dad shut that down real quick. You were like he's only 2.
Actually, I have a list here of all the parodies, and I'll just go through and say the name of the parody stuff instead of going like real name parody. I'll just we got Dwayne's Underworld, which. I mean,
Wayne's World.
Yeah, okay. I figure most of these I want. Silencer of the Lambs, 3 Men and Rosemary's Baby.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that one was all right, but that was another like Silence of the Lambs type bit where it was just a
cut.
Yeah, a cut where it was like, oh man, what are we gonna do with this baby? 3 Men and Rosemary's Baby. I was like, okay. David Dukes of Hazzard. Don't really. I don't know who David Duke is.
That sounds like a really dated.
David Duke is like a
joke.
KKK person. I think.
Yeah, American white nationalist, politician, anti-Semitic, conspiracy theorist, Holocaust
Whoa,
denier.
those first 2 things don't go together.
Hold on, convicted felon and former imperial wizard of the KKK. This guy's got a resume. I just can't wait to hear his CV.
Dude.
I mean, you just read it.
Dude. Hey. He's a fucking wizard, dude.
This one's all right, but I don't think they ever
You're
actually.
a wizard, David Duke.
I don't think they ever explicitly say this, but driving over Miss Daisy.
Yeah,
that was in the trailer.
Northern Overexposure, Autopsies of the Rich and the Famous, The Exorcisist, which that one.
No, I thought that was that was in the trailer.
That was in the trailer,
decent.
and that's one of those. Well, that's one of those where it's like embarrassing to me because the CG of the girl's head spinning is worse than The Exorcist, which came out in the 70s.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, come on, you've got years on this movie. I know you probably spent a lot on the cartoon, but I mean, it can't be
if
that.
They just took that scene of her from The Exorcist and just chopped it on
Yeah.
somebody else's head.
No, I'm gonna skip that for now. We got Meet the Mansons. I said 30-something to Life, which was kind of funny because it was like a pan through a prison where people are like, "Oh man, no, that color doesn't work. It clashes with the bars," and it's like 30-something to Life. Thursdays, which is 30-something is the TV show. I'll skip that.
Well, it sounds like a lot of winners.
No, I mean, I'm going to go back to these ones.
Okay.
Different Strokes, the Underworld Wrestling Federation. Oh, how clever. Death Trek, The Next Generation.
That's not even clever at all.
And then Rooney Tunes. Instead of
Starring Mickey Rooney?
Shit.
Yeah.
Are you for real? He was in it?
No, it was just called Rooney Tunes. And then the
Maybe
home,
like Rune.
and then the
like
home,
mystical Rune.
the home shoplifting channel, and the ones that I skipped, apparently were ones that they just couldn't be fucked with to make like actual jokes about. They just wrote the title, and they were like, and these
Good
writers,
enough.
these writers were like, well, no, I made this title, put it in the movie. So they had a credits scene where like during the credits they just showed the titles of these shows, and these shows are Murder She Likes,
That one's real bad.
yes, Beverly Hills 90666,
Real low hanging on that one.
I Love Lucifer,
Decent.
The Golden Ghouls, which is probably the best out of this bunch,
Yeah.
Unmarried with Children, Fresh Prince of Darkness,
That's all right.
Facts of Life Support,
I'd watch that.
and My Three Sons of Bitches.
That one's clearly just like, we can put bitches in
Yeah,
this,
no,
right?
I mean, again, like, yeah, a lot of those are real low-hanging fruit, and they're just like, hey, I made this joke.
Some of those are as clever as if, like, for a 60 Minutes one, they just put 60 dead babies or something like that. Clever.
Yeah, exactly. And that's funny because I thought that one of your
60 minute.
I thought one of your
dead
questions, Steve. Steve, I thought one of your questions was going to be what is like come up with your own parody TV show.
Damn it.
And I
You're
said
so
that
much better. I'm so much better at the other side than I am at the judging side.
Well, I said that to Charlie, and I was like, I think that's going to be one of his questions, and I haven't given it any thought. Like, it's been one of those things where I'm like, I feel like he's going to ask this. I'll think about it
You
later.
still did not
And-
afterwards.
no, I didn't. And I said that to Charlie, and you came up with
It
was an 8 simple rules joke. You said.
Wow.
Shit, I don't remember what you said. I just know that I built off that and I said AIDS simply rules, which would be in line for this movie.
Fair enough.
You gave that look like you were
8 simple gruel.
That's what it was. Yeah, 8 simple rules was what he said, and then I said AIDS simply rules. So I was like holding that in my back pocket in case you asked. Because then I wouldn't have to think about it anymore.
You should have just said just Will and Grace, like just the actual reboot of Will and Grace.
Because only the devil would. I can't even make a funny joke about that. Yeah, this movie was pretty dumb. I'm trying to think of. It's just the whole like Jeffrey Jones thing was kind of stupid. That the dude that came in that was. So Eugene Levy was like giving Jeffrey Jones shit, and so Jeffrey Jones banished him to the TV world. But then Eugene Levy's like buddy that he brought in gave Jeffrey Jones so much shit, and he never did anything to him. He's just like, well, I'll show you. You
Well,
fuck.
but no one cares about Eugene Levy.
There's a whole entire
fucking
there's a whole
racist.
entire bit of this movie for like maybe 10-15 minutes where the joke is John Ritter's dressed up like a girl. And so that was
hilarious.
What is this, British?
Actually, it was during the French Revolution. Was the time period that he? I know you said British, and but it's the same. It's closer than America.
I will give you that, and our overseas people are very upset.
Probably, but yeah, it was one of those things where like they're like, you're dressed up like a girl, you have boobs, and I was just like, are you fucking kidding? Like, this is
classic.
I was like, the whole joke of this is just, it's like, okay, this isn't funny, and
this was poorly done.
And it made me happy that like,
did a man try and hit on him while he was dressed as a woman?
Yes.
Oh,
and it made me so happy.
Squeeze a tush.
He got mad when he was like, I would have bought you everything when he found out he was a guy. But no, it made me happy that like a in today's world a writer couldn't make a movie like that. Because, and people would say like, oh, too PC or whatever, but it made me happy that somebody couldn't get away with that, because like, this is not good comedy. It's like, this is lazy as shit, and like, your joke is he's dressed up like a girl. Good job. Like, what do you really? That's all you can
make
do?
That funny, but it needs to be in like another situation.
Like,
not the sole focus.
Yeah,
like
if
an
joke,
African idol switched his body with a teenage girl's body.
Yeah, the joke can't be
like in The Hot Chick.
The joke can't be, hey, this guy, he's dressed, he looks like a girl now. Look at him. Oh man,
got him. He's clearly not.
Yeah, it's just so like, really, fuck. Like I feel like even me back, obviously I would have been 2 years old. If I watched this years ago, I still would not have found that amusing. I would have just been like, okay.
Moving on?
Yeah, like what? Oh, another 10 minutes of this? Yeah, it was, man, it was just not good. At the end, he becomes a fencing teacher because there's like a really side comment about how he has like fencing knives, or not knives, swords. Foils, sure. On his wall, like the X. The X thing over, and somebody's like, "Ooh, you fence?" He's like, "I used to," and at the end he becomes a fencing teacher. And then I thought it was like a bit, but it ends with a freeze frame, and it was a long freeze frame because I thought it was going to be one of those, because the whole movie was about like TV tropes and stuff. I thought somebody's going to come in and be like, "Hey, John Ritter, are you gonna come back home?" But no, he like was like, "Yes," and then it froze on him for, I mean, a good maybe 10, 15 seconds. And I was like, okay, no, somebody's walking in, right? No, nobody. And then it like faded to credits, and then it showed all the I Love Lucifer. And they
played
Don't you forget about me. Yeah, no, I knew where you were going with that. But
it's clearly
it was very, I mean, I understand.
So oddly enough, I did make the right choice, it seems.
I feel like mine might have been less interesting, if that makes sense.
Less.
Like, I mean, they both sound bad.
I agree.
But I think that you made the right choice, because I
Yours
think
might get boring.
Yeah, I think mine relies more on a gimmick than yours does, if that makes sense. I mean, no, I know yours is like, hey, it's a cartoon, but mine relies more on, it's, I mean, in that text you said, hey, my movie, like the plot is driven by sex, and I said, at least somebody tried to make a plot from your movie or something.
At least your movie has a story.
I mean, yeah, it's just every now and then.
Yowza.
Eugene Levy shows up every now and then, and I don't know, it's really, they do stupid shit, and
he always does.
In the Northern Overexposure scene, they run into Eugene Levy for the first time, and he's like digging a hole, and he's like, oh yeah, actually I found this hole where like, if I dig far enough, I'm going to get a portal to the next TV world, because I want to escape this TV world, because it's all snow and everything. I'm like, okay, sweet, and he digs more. They help him, and you see like the little static that they do for the TV worlds, and you're like, oh cool, they're going in there, and then a bunch of wolves show up, and you're like, oh man, they better jump into that next TV world, and they all look around, they're like, oh fuck, what do we do? And I'm like, jump into the next TV world, and they go, and John Ritter goes, hey, that shack over there, hide in there, and they all run into a shack, and they're trapped because there's wolves around them, and then the shack starts burning.
It starts
He
burning.
does use icy hot.
A lamp suddenly appears in there that they knock over, and it starts burning the thing down. They move the shack over the top of the portal to dig more. I think that it's one of those things where they just like, oh hey, that item's there. That thing's there now. Let's use that. It's really weird and dumb. The cartoon thing was a little interesting. There was a little bit of when they were mice, he was like, I kind of want to fuck you. You look sexy. And she's like, I'm a mouse. And he's like, yeah, but still.
Just let it happen, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm done with that.
Okay.
Scores.
Yeah. Which do we want to hear first? I guess I talked a lot about mine. Let's go into yours.
Sure, whatever.
All right. Let me pick up the old computer here.
The old Latoop.
Yeah, I already got them pulled up. Cool World is sitting at a nice... This actually has a good amount of reviews for a 1992 movie. Sitting at a 4%. Average 3.2 out of 10.
1% for each sex scene.
46 reviews. I thought that was pretty substantial for the year. 2 fresh, 44 rotten. Because, I mean, 1992, that was before Al Gore invented the internet, wasn't it?
Whoa.
Yeah.
And jeans.
Yeah.
So the critics' consensus is Cool World throws a small handful of visual sparks, but they aren't enough to distract from the screenplay's thin characters and scattered plot.
I wonder how I would have... I can't really do the visuals thing because... I don't know.
Because you were tripping acid the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man, this would be bad then. Because it all looked like shit to me. But
Yeah.
I
'cause-
But I
Gotcha.
think it was poorly done even then because I still think like Space Jam looks good.
When did that come out? That came out later, though, didn't
That
it?
came out like
98 maybe?
No, it was like 95 or 96.
Oh,
But
really?
even then, this just looked like
Yeah.
still pretty bad.
That's probably, I mean...
I mean, maybe it was 90. It was
Well,
mid to
yeah.
late.
They
but
also
in-
animated a lot
in-
more than Space Jam.
I would
though.
say in
Space Jam
Cool-
was only a couple characters. This was like
Yeah.
whole worlds.
Space Jam had a good amount of characters. But I would say you can argue that Space Jam also had the...
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan playing baseball. So you,
But also-
no, it had. I mean, it was a WB
Yes,
animator
true.
stuff, and they had WB animators
Yes,
like
so
making.
they probably made
had,
sure because it's
Yeah, they had those
characters.
licensed exactly. They had licensed characters as far
True.
as this
Good
is all
point.
Well,
original.
and I mean, I'm pretty sure. I think Cool World, like it has the look that it was probably like full hand drawn, and Space Jam always looks like it was like 2D computer generated.
Oh, yeah.
Like they basically just used computers to do the drawing to make it easier on themselves,
Yeah.
sort of situation.
Not to we
Where
should
they can
probably-
like where they
Go
can
for
basically
it.
like duplicate the stuff. So.
Yeah, we should probably wrap this up soon. We got the movie has no internal logic. It's a mess. Cool World is a major disappointment, a repellent oddity with unsavory overtones. A positive one over here is it has a walloping visual style, though returning filmmaker Ralph Bakshi to top form.
It's a weird way to spell Scorsese.
Yeah, Tyler just can't read.
Wait,
It's amazing he gets through these at all.
I mess up reading. Did I read something wrong?
Yeah, you
misread
didn't say Martin Scorsese, right?
Oh yeah, shit, dude, fuck. There's not even similar letters really. The plot is too sketchy to provide much of the framework, and the only logic here is the logic of fevered daydreams. Yet in spurts, the movie's enjoyable. That's a positive review. Spurts, baby. I mean, he had a lot of spurts reviewing this one. Am I right, boys? Oh. No,
All right.
no respect.
4%.
Where is this going?
What's yours at?
I don't know. Mine's had a 46%,
Oh, shit.
but substantially less reviews.
Yeah, okay.
We got 4.5 out of 10, so not really, the average rating's not that far
Yeah.
off. 13 reviews counted, so 6 fresh, 7 rotten. No critics consensus because there's only 13 reviews. So we've got not John's best work.
They know him.
That's actually the most glowing review. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That's a negative review. Stay tuned is harmless little comedy is a positive review. As a 1992 state-of-the-art sci-fi satire, not bad. And I might as well read.
State of the Art. Wasn't this like the same year as like Lawnmower Man?
So if so, then yeah, state of the art. simply crashes upon takeoff, going nowhere in a hurry, sniffing around for pop culture overkill and domestic depression insight. It never makes a genuine play to explore.
Yeah, sounds bad.
And then this is the last one of the featured reviews, at least. It's another positive one. Has its moments. A second-rate screenplay is given a first-rate treatment by underrated director / cinematographer Peter Hyams. Peter Hyman.
That's interesting. Second-rate story, but then it was like, I don't know, they sunk some money into it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it got a budget. So Cool World, Chuck, you won this one.
Cool.
And then I feel like I'm trying to wrap it up here real quick at the end here, but we've gone pretty long as opposed to,
There's a lot of shit in these movies.
Yeah, and we talked about a lot of things other than the movies. We want to do something. Chuck, you wanted to mention in a couple weeks we got in August going to the old.
We're going to see The Room with Tommy Wiseau or Wiseau or whatever, and we will all be there, and the guys from Good, Bad, or Bad, Bad will all be there.
And that is the 25th of August.
Yep,
so,
at midnight.
Yes.
At the Tivoli on the Loop. So we will be out at some bar, which I don't know, we'll probably pick later on. And if you would like to see us,
I'd say follow us at Movie Versus Podcast on Twitter and follow Good, Bad, or Bad, Bad on Twitter. I think
just in our personal lives.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna
because you'll be there as soon as we're at the bar.
And I think that one of us two, I'm sure both of us will say, hey, we're going to be here we're in the St. Louis area. The Tivoli is in St. Louis on the Loop. So if you're in that area, St. Louis, a little bit further from St. Louis, if you're in driving distance, go ahead and do it.
The old Del Mar Loop for people who aren't familiar.
Because it was about like $15 for a ticket. Go see The Room with the director, and then I think
there'll be a Q&A, and he'll play the trailer for his new movie.
Okay, and then if you're a fan, you can talk to us, have a beer with us, and you can also check Good, Bad, or Bad, Bad if you haven't checked them out.
To give you an example, one of my coworkers said that his friends went and saw it 2 years ago, and they ended up hanging out with Tommy Wiseau that night and went to the Arch with him the following day. So
that's
it gives you an idea of what could happen.
So and we'd love to just see some fans and hang out and do whatever.
So that could be you, but with us.
Yeah. Follow us on Facebook or Twitter at Movie Versus Podcast, and that is again the 25th. And then also the socials, I already said all that. We got YouTube is the Three Wise Media YouTube channel. So shout out to Three Wise Media. Thanks again. Listen to Three Wise Radio. Check out, if you're a Star Wars fan, check out Beyond the Blast Doors. They're a friend of the podcast. We already mentioned them, but Good, Bad, or Bad, Bad. They're another bad movie video podcast, though, is what they do, and they focus on one movie and
just on the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I feel like these are the kind of movies they would do, movies that you haven't really heard of. Yeah. That are like they would go in on these kind of movies, and
absolutely,
and they do some great editing and stuff, and it's a lot of fun to watch. So go check them out, follow them on Twitter, check out their Facebook. I think that's all the media stuff to plug. I already said Three Wise Radio. Thank you to Scott Blackwell for the logo, and thanks to Jeremy Lamb for the theme. Am I missing anything, guys? Were we trying to plug anything else?
We're good.
No, I think you covered all the bases.
All right, just keep rate and review us on iTunes if you can. If you're listening to us on an Apple product, share with your friends, man. I mean, it's always awesome just seeing the different demographics we get from who's listening, and it's always cool. And on a cool world, and
it is called a cool world. They're like, welcome. We know this planet as cool world.
and honestly, I mean, if you can get in on just like commenting on our shit on Facebook or tweeting at us on Twitter, it's always cool. We'll respond. We'll get in the discussion with you guys. It's always cool to talk with fans and see the
berate them.
Tell them they're idiots.
Why are you listening?
yeah, you piece of shit. Get better taste. No.
Wow. Wow.
But yeah, definitely get in on that. I mean, make fun of each other. If you see a fan comment
Please
something,
don't do
tell
that.
them they're an idiot.
We're all friends here.
One might even say get in a physical altercation with them.
One might
not
even
us,
say-
though.
one
not
might-
for legal reasons.
Yeah,
I am not
everybody
suggesting that.
show up to the room where it's not actually us watching the room. It's an empty room that you are now going to fight each other in.
One might even say you might find your soulmate.
No, we cannot claim that.
Steve.
Actually, that's probably the one
Steve,
we
I-
can claim.
Steve, I hear you're looking for a soulmate.
Well, this got weird really quick.
He said whole mate. All right, we need to fucking end this shit.
Bye.
Movie Versus is a production of Three Wise Media. For more information, check us out on Facebook.